Hello, people of YouTube. This is Financially Ruined. I'm your host, Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we are talking about why everything sucks now. Yes, a very depressing topic, but that is the truth. Everything sucks now. So the biggest issue is inflation versus wages, or percentage of wages versus cost of things. Things along those lines is the gist of why everything sucks. So back in the day, everything was relatively, in tune with each other. As inflation went up, your wages went up roughly the same percentage, and the majority of the big things only cost 2 or 3 times your salary, where now it's like 20 times your salary. And inflation keeps going up, our wages kind of stagnate, maybe they go up a tiny bit, but it used to be like this, and now it's like this. That is the gist of most of our financial problems. So, back in even I would say up to the 90s, I would say it kind of didn't really start taking a turn until the internet became a thing, and I guess everybody maybe couldn't keep track of it as well because the internet's a thing, so maybe the internet is the downfall of it. But ultimately, back in the day, you were making, let's say, $30,000 a year. And a house costs maybe $150,000. So if there was two of you working, you could, theoretically pay off that house in like 10 years. Fairly easily. A car, let's say you were making $30,000 a year. A car didn't even cost $30,000 a year when you were making $30,000 a year. Maybe it cost 10, maybe it was 1/3 of your income. And if you budgeted yourself accordingly, you could very easily pay off that car within a year of you buying it, as opposed to now, where you have like 10 years to pay off of a car. By the time you pay it off, it's completely worthless and a piece of garbage, and it's going on a scrap heap. And you're lucky if it even lasts you 10 years now with all the crazy technology in it. Not that the technology is inherently bad, it's that it complicates things, makes things harder to repair, and makes it more cost to repair them. And then you have to have specialty people for everything, and you can't work on your own stuff. That's part of it too. You used to be able to just work on your own stuff. If your refrigerator crapped out, if you were a handyman, you could probably fix it yourself, or you could pay someone to fix it for you. Now, because of the price of them and the components, it's not even worth it. You just throw the thing out and get a new one. I think that's part of it too. All the stuff has also become significantly cheaper to produce, and it's also just become crappier to a certain extent. You're not going to get 50 years out of a brand new refrigerator or an oven or a washer or a dryer. I remember when my parents first got their house, they got a brand new washer and dryer. And that washer and dryer lasted about 25 years, and I'm not even exaggerating. And then when they crapped out and they replaced it, they got 4 years out of a washing machine. 4 years. And of course it was just out of warranty, just barely out of warranty. And that's what they do. They sell you these extended warranties, and you're just wasting money on them because they're going to ensure that that particular item craps out just slightly over the amount of time that warranty expires. It's the same thing with cell phones too. You have some sort of cell phone plan or whatever. Let's say you have like a 2 or 3 year contract. The cell phone's going to crap out within 6 months of that 2 to 3 year contract being over. Or the battery's going to be crapped out too. I am hoping that because the European Union passed a thing where in 2027 everything needs to have replaceable batteries, I'm hoping that comes over to the US. I don't know if it will or won't, but it would be very convenient because all phones used to have replaceable batteries, and it was nice. You had an old phone, but the battery was starting to crap out. You just bought a new battery instead of having to go to a repair tech and pay $150 for a battery. You could spend maybe $15-20 on a battery, slap it in there, and you were good to go for a while. I had that with my Samsung Note 4 for a little while when I had that phone. Although that phone did crap out prematurely, unfortunately. I don't think I've had a Samsung since. But who knows? Maybe the next one. Who knows? But ultimately, the major issue is price of wages have not caught up with inflation. They're not going to catch up with inflation. So realistically, if they were caught up with inflation right now, the average salary would probably be between $120,000 and $150,000, which is a really good salary. If I was making that kind of money, I would be very content. No, I am not making that kind of money. I wish I was. Got to keep trying. That's all you can do is keep trying. But that's kind of where we're at. That's why everything seems so ridiculously expensive. That's why a house seems so out of reach when, the average salary or median salary, I should say, is somewhere around slightly under 60,000, depending on who you ask, which is interesting because the median household salary is around 80 to 85. So if you divide that by two, because let's be honest, two people are definitely working on a household. Typically, two people own a house. Not always, but typical American family type of thing. That would bring it more down to like 42 to 45,000 per person. So there's a wide range. It also depends on where you live, things along those lines. You know, $40,000 might be good in rural Mississippi, but you take that to Los Angeles, and that's basically nothing. Let's be realistic. But the issue is, even when you're making 80 grand, when the price of, between two of you, the price of a house is still 400 grand. So it's not double your salary, it's not triple, it's not quadruple. It's like 5 to 10 times your salary. And if it's an individual, even more so. I've been trying to buy a house forever and just trying to find something that is semi-updated, doesn't have old pipes, old electrical, old everything that, you know, oh, I just bought the house and then everything starts crapping out, because that's my luck, let's be realistic. That would happen to me. So that's just kind of where we're at the moment, and it's not great. It's not great. It doesn't seem like it's getting any better. The more you earn, you know, the more they take out of you in taxes anyway, so it kind of evens out where, oh, okay, let's say you make 60 grand a year, well, guess what? At least 13,000 of that is going to the state and federal, so now you got to knock that down to like 47,000. So, you know, I really hate the whole gross pay versus net pay thing, because it's, oh yeah, well, technically I make this money, but no, not really, because taxes and Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid, if you're in a union, you got union dues, health insurance, everything else that comes out of your paycheck. Heaven forbid you have a family and you have to put your kids on your health insurance plan, that quadruples it right there. Let's be realistic. That like skyrockets the price of your health care. Why it doesn't just like maybe double, that would make sense, but quadruple, I don't even know. It is ridiculous. It is a shit show, and it is just shitification. That's a word that has been going around where, you know, all of our products are crappy too. You know, back in the day, everything lasted a long time. Everything was simplistic. It just worked. And now it's like, oh, if you have a computer that's over 3 years old, or a cell phone that's over, any technology that's over 3 years old, that's obsolete. If you have a car that's over 5 years old, that's ancient. Back in the day, people held on to cars for 20 years. If the thing was still running and there wasn't anything inherently wrong with it, they just kept fixing it. You know, usually it was brakes, rotors, joints. You changed the oil. Pulling a motor out back in the day wasn't that big of a deal. You didn't have 4 million miles of cords in the way. The only cords you had in the car was for your lights, your blinkers, your headlights, and your tail lights, and maybe there was a light in the car in a radio. That was it. That's all you had in the car. You didn't have 4,000 cameras and 4,000 sensors. I do enjoy a backup camera. I will admit that. But I do know that backup cameras do occasionally fail. And then you got to do it the old way and turn your head. And I've noticed, too, that a lot of modern cars seem to have smaller and smaller rear windows. So you're more heavily reliant on that backup camera, meaning that if it craps out, you really want to get it fixed ASAP. Because you have two big honking blind spots on each side, and you don't want to hit anything. And nobody wants to hit anything and then deal with insurance. Price of insurance has gone sky high in a lot of places too. And it is just a giant cesspool of your wage is stagnant. It's not really going up. Cost of everything just keeps going up. And how do we fix this? How do we fix the crisis? That is a good question. That is a good question. Raising the minimum wage might help, and they say, oh, if you raise the minimum wage, $15 an hour isn't anything anymore. Let's be honest. $15,000 is $32,000 a year. That's less than the median average, the median income. So if the median income is $60,000 a year, that's about $30 an hour, roughly $30 an hour. So we would actually have to double that at this point. People were fighting for that back in like 2009, and now we're here, and now it's like minimum wage realistically would have to be $30 an hour. For it to keep up with anything. And I know people that are making 60, 70, 80 grand, and they're not living the large life. I'll be honest with you. They're not barely scraping by. You know, they got a decent vehicle, a decent home, but they're not going on vacation. They don't have extra vehicles, extra things. A lot of their vehicles are used. The house is going to be, you know, obviously used as well. No brand new construction going on. Seems like that a lot of brand new construction is kind of crapped out kind of everywhere. That's part of the issue too, is more people want homes right now than there are available. But I think that in terms of the housing market, I think within the next 5 to 10 years, that probably will change because a lot of the people that own their homes are boomers, the boomer generation, and a lot of them are going to be dying off theoretically. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is yet to be seen. But essentially what that would mean is that there'll be more houses on the market than people want, so the price will go down. But do you want to wait another 10 to 15 years for that to happen? And maybe it doesn't. Maybe there's some sort of crazy new medicine that makes everybody live to 150. And then they're going to tell you, guess what? You don't get to retire now until you're 90 because you live to 150. We don't know. You don't know what the future holds. So, I mean, if you're looking to buy a house right now or a vehicle, figure out what's in your budget and just go for it. That's what I would say. Is understand, can you afford that monthly payment? Is it going to hurt you? It used to be, could you afford it as a whole? Not, can you afford it as a monthly payment? But now it's gotten to the point, same with buying a vehicle. Can you afford the monthly payment? And actually the same thing. Don't buy a new car, buy a used car. Even if it's 5 years old, not the end of the world. But can you afford the monthly payment is kind of what we've gone into. And that's kind of what everything's turning into. It's the subscriptions, Sony getting rid of physical discs. Eventually, there's not going to be Blu-rays or CDs anymore. Vinyl will stick around for a while because of hipsters. Thank you, hipsters. Thumbs up for them. But eventually, they're just everything's going to be a monthly subscription. That's kind of where the it sucks. Everything's going to be a monthly subscription, a monthly payment, and it's just going to be nonstop till you die. That's what they want. They don't want you to own anything. They want you to rent everything. And to a certain extent, you're renting a house too, because if you don't pay your property taxes, it might take a while, but they will eventually foreclose your house if you don't pay your property taxes. So that's something to factor in too. Make sure even after the house is paid off, you can afford your property taxes. Because they'll take it away from you. It doesn't matter that you spent 30 years paying that thing off. Guess what? It's the towns or the cities now. So I guess that's where I'm going to leave it. I think that's where I'm going to leave it. I think I've been a Debbie Downer enough for today. And just hit the subscribe button. If you're watching from your phone, hit the hype button, because I know that helps new creators. This is the new channel for me. Subscribe, notification bell, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you want to see for future finance-related content. And as always, have a good one.